All right, guys. We are back. Aunties, cousins, sisters, and brothers. Please wait. Give us about 30 minutes and then you can call, okay? Give us 30 minutes.
Thank
All
you,
right,
please.
let's go back. So we discussed that Brian was Kojic. You joined his church while you were away. And then when did the conversation started going intense to where we were considering marriage?
Wow. Oh.
Well, so the true conversations probably started maybe like 2003.
Mm-hmm.
So between where the story left off and where we really started considering marriage, it was about 3 years. And so in this time frame, I still wasn't quite sure what I wanted in life. And so because of that, we actually broke up a couple of times actually during this time. And
During this 3 year period?
yeah.
Okay.
We broke up, and I was again like she really was my first real serious relationship. But I was still very naive to a lot of the world because I'm this sheltered church boy. So I was very naive. And so I wasn't really sure what I wanted. So I get into like some serious trouble to where I have to go to court and go to probation and all of this stuff. And so during the worst part of it, me and her weren't together. But then I got into a really bad car wreck, to the point to where I was rushed to the hospital. I had to wear a neck brace and all of this stuff. And so she comes by my house and checks up on me. And really from that moment forward, we kind of reconnected, and she stuck with me through the last, I say, year or so of my legal stuff. And I knew then that if she was willing to stick with me at the worst part of my life, then we, would be, you know, connected for the rest of our lives. And so that's when I got my mind right. I was like, all right, let's go ahead and let me think about what life would be like with her as my wife. Now, the whole, what do you call it? Whenever we was at Olive Garden, the proposal. Yeah, that happened. Was it? It was on your grandmother's birthday.
We
right?
actually got proposed on Granny's birthday. We went. We was on Elvis Presley. We went down to their There's a Chinese restaurant on Elvis Presley.
Oh, okay.
And so we went there to celebrate Granny's birthday, and then he came and picked me up. And so he took me to Olive Garden, which is my favorite restaurant. And so we started out with just us two, just sitting there, chilling, talking. All of a sudden, I see friends coming in. We got moved maybe 2-3 tables.
Oh, wow.
By the time I look up, we're all like, it's a group of us. And I'm like, what in the world is really going on? Why are y'all here? So yeah, he proposed in Olive Garden. This is actually his third time proposing, to be honest.
That's why I said the serious part.
You know.
Okay.
So wait a minute. You proposed 3 times, so that means you said no twice?
Yes. But here's the thing. I talked about me being naive, right? The worst thing for a green church boy to do is when he gets on and he think it's like the best thing in the world, the worst thing for you to do is ask that person to marry you afterwards. That's kind of what I did. I'm a little ashamed of that now, all of these years later. But yeah, that's kind of what happened. And yeah, she knew better. She was like, "Nah, fam,
You ain't ready."
You ain't ready." So So yeah, the official proposal happened at Olive Garden, and then we got married what
May 2005.
May of 2005.
Okay. Okay. So we're married. We are newlyweds. When did the conversation happen about leaving Memphis?
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So, when we stayed in our apartment, it was Mama, me, then Pam in our apartments. So, a lot of times when we would have date night, I would get a call. I need you to go take care of your sister, right? And so we have to stop doing what we have to do for me to go do that. And so there came a point where Brown was like, yo, something got to change. And so when we moved to Bartlett, he was working at RGIS. And so he got a promotion with his job to move him to Shreveport. And so because this is battle of us not having that specific time to spend time together, quality time together, I was like, yeah, let's go. Because to be truthful, if I would have stayed in Memphis, we would have got divorced.
Wow.
So we had to move to save us.
Wow. Okay. So talk me through that. Was there a lot of prayer? Was there a lot of discussion? Or was it just like, let's roll once he realized he got the promotion?
But once he got promotion, or while he was here, I was praying, but God was always telling me it's not for a job, it's actually for ministry.
Oh, okay.
And exactly what we do, ministry. And so, which I'm grateful for sure. It was most definitely a lot of prayer of covering him, covering his mind, keeping him at peace. Because of, I know, being a wife, you have to protect your husband in his endeavors, right? And protect of where his mind, and will try to get his minds to go. So most definitely a lot of prayer.
Okay. Okay.
And the one thing I want to say too is, thinking back on it, it really was a step in faith that I really wasn't even aware of at the moment. Because like literally what ended up happening was so in September of that year, and this is in 2009, by the way. So September, we had my job had split because of the housing market and all of that. The job had split, and so they had to come back together because they didn't have enough money really to keep the job in two separate locations in the city. So when they came back together, I got demoted. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I don't know how this is gonna work, but we just gonna let it do what it do. And so literally my district manager saw what I was doing. And once the job opened up here in Shreveport, she presented it to me. And I ain't never left Memphis, right? And so I was like, okay, well, let me talk to my wife about it. And literally the conversation was like, hey, there's this job opening in Shreveport, Louisiana. Do you want to go? There wasn't a lot of prayer in that. I'm going to be honest. She was just like, let's go. And for me, I was like, are you sure? She was like, yeah, let's go. And so for me, it was almost like I believe God had created this opportunity just to get me outside of my comfort zone, because I was extremely comfortable here in Memphis with my current church and like my family. I was comfortable, but like she said, we needed that push in order for us to grow, because the growth that we've had these last 12 years would not have happened had we been still in Memphis.
Okay. So talk about your ministry now. You said the ministry that you have now. Talk to us about it.
Okay. Okay. So currently, I am our pastor of worship at Greater New Zion Full Gospel Baptist Church here. I think I've officially So I've been leading worship and singing since I was 16. And so the church that I came to here in Shreveport didn't have a worship leader. And so like the way that God put all the pieces together is crazy. And so I've been serving as like the worship leader since 2010, maybe? Yeah, 2010. And so over that time, I've kind of grown as a person, grown as a student of the word. And it was in like, I think 2015 when I officially accepted my calling to preach. And so I've been basically doing both of those at the same time over the last 6 years. And there's just been more of a focus on the preaching side. I think I was officially given the title of pastor maybe 3 years ago now, I think. So, but yeah, it's really been an interesting journey because God will always put people around you who see in you what you don't see in yourself. And I didn't see any of this. The things that I do today, I didn't see any of this whenever I first moved here, but I believe my pastor really, really did. And so he made sure that we stayed connected, that he put the right people around me to kind of help guide me to the person that I needed to be. Now, this one right here.
I told him, so while we were still in Memphis, we were staying in his grandfather's old house. And so that's when God started growing me up about prayer and seeing things, visions. And I told him that God's gonna give you a platform. Um, he's gonna grow you up with what you need to do. And so from that prophetic at the house, like everything that God showed me, everything that God told me, he's actually walking in it. And it's like, wow, everything that you told me, he's doing it. This is like amazing, right? A lot of times us as intercessors and prophetic intercessors, we get afraid because those that are closest to us don't understand the anointing that we carry. And so I had backed off big time because he didn't understand it.
I did not.
There was a moment where I woke up out of my sleep just speaking in tongues. Like literally got saved literally in the midst of my sleep. And so there are things that I tell him that be like, how do you even know that? The Holy Spirit told me, right? So that's how I know. So you can't lie to your wife. That part. Because my best friend gonna tell me.
Okay, so with that and the way that you all function, I'm going to say in the spirit, how do you all in real life? How do you handle conflicts when there's a disagreement and it's beyond I'm sorry?
So what's interesting about our dynamic is that our personalities are so different. So I don't like confrontation at all. So it's like if I feel that there is a tension, the natural thing for me to do is to isolate myself, is to just not even worry about it, right? Whereas Lisa or Melissa, she is the type of person that she don't like arguments, but she will, if it bothers her enough, she'll come and like, yo, this is stupid. What are we doing, right? And as the leader, it's my personality sometimes can hurt me if I'm not assertive because there's things that need to be addressed and need to conversations that need to have, and I'm afraid to have them sometimes. And so, what I think we've learned over the years is that if you see something or if you feel something, don't be afraid to talk. Because for me, I hate rejection to the nth degree. So I will do everything I can to avoid that rejection, even if the rejection is not even true, even if it won't happen. If I think it's going to happen, I'll try to avoid it. And so what I've learned is that it's okay for us to have difficult conversations, because those difficult conversations, one, allows me to see myself the way I need to be seen, right? And so that I can really start the process of working on myself. And two, it creates an environment to where she's comfortable telling me stuff. Because that was the biggest issue in our marriage for a long time, is that I would always shoot her down whenever she wanted to have a conversation, because I just wasn't ready for it, right? And so she just didn't say nothing for a really long time, and we were looking like we was okay, but privately we were just having these battles, and I wasn't trying to address them, and so she just didn't even say nothing, because again, she don't like to argue. So
Yeah, because I grew up in a home where there was always argument, and I knew I didn't want that for my life. But one thing is, when you realize that somebody is very judgmental, and I believe it's the way that he was raised too. Um, that always bothered me big time, and I literally had to tell him. I remember years ago him telling me, "You say whatever you want to say. Don't care how nobody take it." Well, and I told him like a couple months ago. I said, "This is not Melissa talking. This is Lisa talking. I have to prefer the two because Lisa is hood. Lisa get you where you need to go."
oh yeah,
And think none else of it.
oh yeah.
So I have to, when we talking, this is not Melissa, this is Lisa. So I need you to get it together. I got that Brenda K in me. Big time. We're going straight to the point.
Right.
Cause I'm tired of sugarcoating. I'm letting you know where I stand, I'm letting you know how I feel. And that's that on that.
Yep.
Either you gonna be here or you not. Which one you gonna choose? Choose this, that who you gonna serve.
So I have to ask Brian, what is your favorite thing about Melissa?
You know what? My favorite thing about her is that she cares for people so deeply that um it, like our home, because she cares for people, she prays for people, she intercedes for people, and so it makes our house a house of peace. And I love having a house of peace, right? People, every time they come to our home, they're like, man, I could stay here all day. And at first, I was thinking it was because of our great personalities and the fact that we like having people over. But really, what I understand that it is that we have a house of peace. Like, she covers me, she covers our home, and she loves people, and she wants people just to be the best that they can be. And so she goes beyond normal and intercedes for people. And so that is what I love about her spiritually. Naturally, she's literally my best friend. Like, she understands my jokes, right? Like, I can be corny sometimes, but she understands them, and so that's the one thing. The fact that we started as friends has kept us strong and has kept us together. When there are plenty of times when I didn't got on her nerves, because I can be a knucklehead, but the fact that we're friends, we've been able to kind of allow each other time to grow. And so, yeah, that's what I love about
Melissa?
him.
Um, his nerdiness. Um, he's very studious. He's always eager to learn, and that was really what was caught my attention even in high school when I actually got to know him, cause he'll be in class and he don't study. This man sit there and get it all in one whop. I'm like, how you do that? And so him just reading the word and be like, how you get all of that just by reading it? Me, I gotta dig a little bit longer, pray a little bit longer to get all of that. But it's more his studentness, his nerdness that really is like, oh, okay. So he's the nerd in the home. He's my little Urkel.
Oh my God.
Okay. So the flip side of that question, Brian, if there was anything that you would wish that Melissa would work on, what would it be?
I would say her. Okay, so sometimes she can hold a grudge, and then once she gets that grudge, there's nothing. I feel there's nothing that person can do to get that grudge off of her. It's stuck for life, and so whether or not that person deserves it or not, because sometimes they do deserve it, and I'm okay with it. Other times, it could be a misunderstanding, but for her, she was like, nope, they came at me wrong. And so it's like, that's the only thing I wish that she would kind of grow into a little more maturity when it comes to forgiving certain people. Because it takes her a really long time to forgive once you've crossed it. So
that's real. Don't push me. So for me, where do I start?
Wow. I'll just wait.
For real. There'll be more of more cautious of his surroundings. More cautious of who needs to be in his circle, right? Because for me, I've had, like, for us in our marriage, I've had people to try to get close to me to get close to him. And so it's like the discernment of spirit. It's like, you ain't trying to be my friend. So I'm cutting you off right there. And so I've had to walk with, almost walk with this wall up, right? So that, like, don't get too close. Cause that's me. Once it's almost as if once you in my circle, you know how much I love and I care. But once you have crossed that boundaries, that's all. It's off for me. That's like a big off for me. And so my family, my friends is very vital, very important, very dear to me. And so for that is more of, don't come at me wrong. If I've set these boundaries, and once you cross that boundaries, yeah, it ain't no coming back. Yeah.
Okay, so lastly, let's talk about these business ventures.
Okay. So I do Herbalife on the side, part-time. And then within the pandemic, Brian has started his podcast. We've been Families Podcast. It has really been a blessing. And then within the pandemic, we actually started making t-shirts to go with his podcast. And so I have a Determined Bell and Me inspirational page for workout and fitness that I use based with the Word of God as well. So our fitness and our spiritual life goes hand in hand. And so that's what the Turn to Be Bell and Me is all about. And then that's a clothing line all by itself. So I'm working on some more apparel for that. Praise the Lord. And then we have King's Kid Designs is where while we're reading the Word of God or while Brian is ministering, something might pop up in our mind. Ooh, that would go fire on a shirt or a hoodie. One of my favorite ones that God gave me was faith over fear equals obedience.
Yeah.
I created it. I put it on a pink hoodie. Within my own walk, within my own life, there are things that I was afraid to venture in, that I was afraid to do. But it's like because the fear had me crippled. Fear had me stagnant, and for me, it was more of fear of the unknown, right? Fear of excelling, because you always hear new level, new devils, and we like, do I want that in my life? Because I'm a fighter, literally fighter. Not only in the spiritual realm, but also in the natural, right? More in the natural than the spiritual. And so literally I had to like within my own journey, my own spiritual journey, my own fitness journey, God is literally transforming even now to what I even put in my body. I have it has been this is like first, well, I started last week, on and off last week, right? Taking meat out of my diet. Just pretty much eating everything concerning like the Daniel fast. And so within that, I've lost already 8 pounds. Within that, my ears have been more in height. So it's more of just putting everything that God will put in His body into my body. Even though He tells us that in the Word that the flesh, the food, the meat is not, it's not bad for us. But for some of us, we have to look at what can our body process. And I started learning that my body can't process meat that well. I will gain when I eat meat, but I'm learning that when I eat vegetables, when I eat beans, I lose and I have more energy. I'm not tired after I eat a meal. I'm not sleepy after I eat a meal. And that's just been over this 2 week span of transforming, because it was a process for me to get there. It was a mind shift for me to get there. But now that I'm here, I'm like, oh, guess I should have did this long time ago, Dad. I'm sorry. I have those thoughts, right? And so, yeah, those are the things that we have been working on, and I'm super excited about it because, even with we have M&M masterpieces where I do the welcome boards, and including with the welcome boards, I do hoodies for my job. Then I custom hoodies for my job. And then I also do hoodies and shirts with the faces on them with the I am. So that is all included with the M&M masterpiece. So we have a lot of different avenues. As we've been listening, studying, 7 streams of income, different 7 streams of income, right? To be where you want to be. And so some things that we're working on. So yeah, we just enjoying the process of allowing our creativities to expand, to explore, to where it don't feel like a job.
Right.
And so I love it. Yeah.
Brian, tell me about these. Is it a word search or is it a crossword?
So
that's smart stuff for real.
So I have 2 puzzle books. One is a word search. That one specifically is a Bible word search. And so the second one is a word scramble. So the second one just has a bunch of random words that you can scramble and figure out which word these random letters makes. And I realized that I really do like words. Like I like I don't read as much as I want to, but I enjoy words. I enjoy puzzle books. And so I found a way to do it pretty easily and pretty quickly. And so I just decided to just jump on that train, and I got some other stuff coming in the works when it comes to those books, but they can be found on Amazon.com.
My nerd. See what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I don't know no other Black man that has done it. I love words. I love words.
Yeah.
So that's what's up. That's what's up. Thank you so much, Mitchells.
Thank you for having us.
We talked earlier just about, hearing different people's stories and hoping that the story helps, someone else. So I'm really hoping that sharing your story, it's y'all, technically y'all really are a young first lady and pastor. You know what I'm saying? So that's a different walk for y'all's age group, especially not being caught up in the way the world is changing.
Yeah.
So I applaud your discipline. I really do. Thank you again for coming. I'm really proud of y'all. I'm really proud of y'all.
So we'll be celebrating 17 years of marriage in May of next year.
Wow. Okay. Well, good. Love on each other.
Absolutely.
Be there for each other. Continue to grow, and I hope to see you all again in 2022.
Absolutely.
Okay. Not for a funeral.
That part.
Okay.
I'm not coming home.
Anyway, Brian, I hope to see you. Hope to see you in 2022. Bring your wife with you.
I will.
I love you guys, and have a wonderful week, okay?
You too.
All right, you too.
Peace.
All right, bye.
Again, thank you so much for joining us, guys. Again, family is very, very important to me, and I love that I have a family that is, I'm going to use the term, a cornucopia of things. Nobody's walk is the same, but the thing that makes, like Brian said, peace is when you're okay with what your walk is and what works to keep your relationship and even the relationship with yourself that keeps you sane. Peace is a beautiful thing. And in the world we're in today, peace is important. Peace is very important. So whatever your walk is, as long as it is working for you and not harming others, bless you and continue on that journey. As long as we're given the opportunity to wake up and try again, keep moving forward and seek peace and joy and love always. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful week. Peace, love, and family.